Hello, and welcome to the Renaissance English History Podcast, Tudor Minute, your mostly daily dose for all things related to medieval and Renaissance England. So, today I want to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is Evensong Service. So, a lot of people know that I'm actually starting a tour company, and one of our things that we're doing history tours of England, and our first tour is going to be Evensong services in England. And Evensong is sometimes called the atheist's favorite service because it basically mixes amazing music with a very popular kind of church service. It doesn't ask for a lot from you. It just asks that you enjoy the music, and it's free with the exception of an offering. So, how can you go wrong? And so we're leading Big World is our tour company, and our first tour is the Evensong services throughout England. So I'm really excited about that. But so what's the history of Evensong service, you might ask? Because you might ask that. I did. It's not the craziest thing. So we can thank Thomas Cranmer for Evensong services. He was the Archbishop. He's the guy who organized Henry VIII's divorce. And so, we have a lot to thank him for. And so pre-Reformation England, there were 7 daily services in monasteries, which were called the hours. And it was services for almost every time of day. It was a really cumbersome system. Most people couldn't follow it unless you were like a monk. They're all in Latin, and there wasn't enough scripture being read according to the Protestants, and they were really, really elaborate. And so the average monk, his day started out in the pre-dawn hours with lauds and prime. Then there was terce, sext, nonus, nons, roughly 3 hours apart, and then there was vespers and compline. And then you'd rise again at midnight for prayers. So it was just a lot of getting up and a lot of praying. And it wasn't really doable for like your average farmer. And so Cranmer took vespers and compline, and he made that Evensong. He also took the morning services and made that into matins. And so he did away with the middle ones completely. So Evensong was made up of compline, vespers, and he translated the services into English. He did a lot. He added a lot of scripture, and in English, of course, he included lessons that hadn't been included in the other services. It was kind of this puzzle of how can you take what works with each of these services and make them more Protestant. And so the Evensong service has some scripture, it has the readings, but mostly it's almost like a sung prayer service. And there's a lot of singing involved. And if you haven't ever been to an Evensong service, and if you live in England, you should totally go. And you should thank Cranmer for making such a really great service. So it goes back to 1562, and in the Book of Common Prayer was where he laid out the structure. There's lessons from Old and New Testament, and it's really a great experience. I'm just reading an article here about it. Oh, another interesting tidbit is the Choral Evensong program on BBC Radio 3 is the longest running music radio show in the UK. And so, it's wildly popular, and it's a really great thing to do. And if you want to go, and if you've never been before, like if you go to Westminster Abbey, the trick is you have to go right up at the appointed time, and you have to say, I'm here for service, instead of asking about touring or anything like that, because it's not open for tours. And you aren't going to get to walk around and see all the crypts and everything like you would if you paid to go through a tour. But you will, if you get there early enough, you will get to sit right in the choir, stalls, or else, close by, and you'll get to have this amazing experience. So there's actually a new website, choralevensong.org, which outlines, the guy did some data mining of all of the Evensong services throughout the UK. So you can do a search and find out when and what time and where all the different Evensong services are close to you. So that's your advertisement for Evensong, I guess. No, but it's a really cool history of the Evensong service, and it goes back almost 500 years, and you should check it out if you're into music and if you can sit through a church service. They're not long, less than an hour. All right. If you want to learn more about the Renaissance English History Podcast, you can go to http:// www.englandcast, ENGLANDCAST, englandcast.com, or facebook.com/englandcast. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.